Welcome back. God, I need to change that key. To Pillars of Eternity, which I am inevitably going to call Path of Exile a lot by accident. Last time we made our way through Silent Lee and pretty well explored the Vale Wood. We lacked the athletics to actually go up here, but I don't think there's really a way to get up in here. I guess I could go up here and then see if I can cross. Oh. Zarip clap. Camp. Right. Okay. Let's not die, hopefully. Try and hit all of these again. If I do, then that actually probably kills one of them at least. Oh, and it only hit this one. Right. I'm going to pop a spell charge. And it doesn't bounce. Ugh. Not really losing health, only endurance. Out of regeneration potions. I guess what I do is missiles on you, and then hopefully take out you with basic attacks? Although, at this point, I am resting after the fight, so... Zarip Spears... medium heater shields, Zarip tongues, and amethysts. The struts and supports are large enough to be the ribs and vertebrae of a dragon. This guy had a quarter staff, a padded cap with no stats, and 18 copper pieces. Makes me wonder about over here then. Oh, this is definitely explorable. I'm going to rest first. Because I'm not going in with 0 spell charges. Interesting that you can apparently earn your bestiary entries. Is there anything over here? Some blood moss. Okay, now I think I've seen everything, but I didn't actually discover this camp. God. You think you've seen everything, and then it turns out that all those black spots can be filled in. Right. It probably seems like I am, but I am not delaying going into the bear cave. Although, the fact that I apparently have to go in there, kind of ridiculous. Oh, hello.
How do you do?
This man appears to be hurriedly dismantling his camp in quick, jerky movements. He looks up as you approach, his expression tense and drawn. Greetings, he says, a little breathless. On your way south, is it? He wipes his brow, turning to face you. The sooner you're clear of these woods, the better, I think. What's your hurry? The man looks down at the tent, then at his hands. I mean to follow my own advice. Came out here on a hunt, me and a friend of mine. Thought we'd bring a stag home, eat something other than bread for once. Came up on a bear instead, great monstrous thing, and Pearly, he didn't make it. He shakes his head. I don't know what I'll tell his wife. In any case, the forest's already cost me a friend. I'm heading home before it takes anything else. Where did you find this bear? In a cave, a ways up that way. He turns to point to the northwest. I wouldn't seek it out if I were you. It was a great brute of a beast. Would hate to hear that it took another life. Who are you? Name's Naunton. Born and raised in Gilded Vale. Haven't had a spot of luck since. His face twists. Luckier than Pearly, I suppose. What happened to your friend? We didn't see it coming. Naunton's voice shakes a little as he speaks. We were following a stag. Pearly's... He saw something in the brambles, and we went tearing off after it. We all but stumbled into the cave. Poor Pearly didn't stand a chance. The bear was on top of him before we knew what was happening. The beasts will take what they will, I suppose. He smiles sadly, and this time Gallowayne's favor fell upon the bear. Farewell. Right, so that bear is going to be rough. I'm sure he'll be happy to know if we kill it, though. And having a friend in the Vale, aside from the chef at the inn, can only help our situation. Alright, gonna kill a bear. Bears! Let's go! This is stupid. Alright. Let's go into scouting mode. No reason not to. Oh, there it is. Not sure what that is. Cave coral. Alright. Let's go parasitic staff. Okay. I should have expected that. Really, I should. Can I do... Can I at least hit him? 7 and 8 did, like, nothing. Right, let's get the cave coral and leave. Kind of weird that he didn't want us to, like, team up with him against it since he knew it was here. But I'm confused now. Like, can I go now that I've talked to him? Do I need to find a travel point in the south? Oh, I needed to discover part of it. Alright, to the Vale. Alright. Oh.
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
You welcome everyone this way? The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever conceived a Hollowborn child?
What are you talking about?
An infant born without a soul, of course. Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst. His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here.
You said something about Hollowborn and Widewind's legacy before. He blinks. I forget that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn have been a scourge upon the Deerwood for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Children born without souls. He shakes his head. Pitiful dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease. Some say they are a punishment from the gods. He raises his empty hands. In truth, no one knows, but they began spreading after the Saints' War, and so the name Widewind's legacy stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. His voice shakes with vitriol. I see. Lord Radric's decrees may seem strict at times, but he has our best interests at heart. He nods. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's important that everyone in Gilded Vale understand our rules. I've been feeling strange ever since a close call with a Beowick. Is there someone in town who could help?
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all. But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
Before I got here, I saw several people conduct. Do we really want to make that public knowledge that we saw that? I guess they're gonna find the caravan at some point, so it's good to know that. Yeah. He regards you carefully. You'll want to mind where you mention that. Trespassing on Engweathan ruin is illegal, not to mention dangerous. You probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People will try anything these days. Bareth have mercy, we certainly have. I don't think so. Just as they finished, there was a Beowick. He polishes his spectacles on his sleeve. If you'd been that close to a Beowick, you wouldn't be standing here.
Keep out of...
Listen!
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed. 3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
Does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers? I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn, or a stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon enough. Don't threaten me, little man. He shakes his head unmoved. It is no threat, only a warning. Lord Radric will tolerate no threats to his kin or those who live upon his lands. Grief will not make him more docile. What happened? He shrugs one bony shoulder. I will know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps, but that is not your concern. What do you mean? You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy has struck at the heart of the Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Bareth must be redoubled. He casts a steady gaze on you. Farewell. No, don't fare well. Fare horribly. You're a bit of a twat. Right. Adair.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
Strange way to talk about your dead. He looks up at the tree and breathes out. Half the town's up there now. Seems like no right way to talk about it. Was that, I don't know how much budget they put in the voice acting, but that sounded like, is it Matthew Mercer? Alvin from Tales of Exilia. I'm looking for someone who can help me feel better. He gives an understanding nod as he takes a long drag from his pipes. My condolences. He exhales and turns his attention away, watching the village around him. Things are bound to get worse now. Don't be stupid. They can't possibly get any worse. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
What's going on? One of the other men points at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze is focused. Mocking us even while he shelters in our village. Just goes to show you what these fancy Adir manners are worth. We don't take to that kind of treatment. Not from foreigners, and especially not from Adirans.
Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Why, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cock's feather!
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
That's where you're wrong.
This is unnecessary. Wouldn't you rather be inside drinking than out here arguing? We don't want your charity either, foreigner. They squint at you through red, bleary eyes. It sounds suspiciously like you're defending him. Oh, jeez. Really?
That's for my friends.
As the last of the attackers falls, the elf turns to you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
I'm glad I could help.
Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts. Though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
He straightens his hood, and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork underneath it is sturdy and fine.
I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service.
How did you manage to get stuck out here? He laughs uncomfortably. That is something of a long story.
I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire. And both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I am grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
I was traveling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruin.
If in ruins. Those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. Half the locals will arrest you for trespassing, and the rest will kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
Several hooded figures operating a strange machine. Aloth goggles at you silently, apparently assessing your earnestness. Finally, he gives you a clipped, awkward laugh.
You do managed to find yourself in rather interesting predicaments.
Just how did you manage to cross those three drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
You did tell that one man to go fuck his sister. Ah, that. He clears his throat and adjusts his leaves. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. I heard the same thing. For just a moment, he looks as if he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief, but before he can speak, he forces a tight smile, biting his lips so hard you expect to see blood. Finally, his face relaxes, and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time. My apologies. Calling it now. As a wizard, a spell went wrong, and he has a second personality. Dude, it's Elvin Zaphod Beeblebrox. What are you doing in Gilded Vale?
Excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expected wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
I've been experiencing strange things of late. I'm looking for an expert on souls.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
His darting glance takes in the tumble-down buildings and the fallow, rock-strewn fields. I expect that such expertise would be best sought elsewhere. You don't exactly look like a settler yourself, Aloth.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
I should get going.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
So do I. Let's go then.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
Oh, gee. We are a party of 2 wizards. Right. Let's check his grimoire. Let's see here. Dazzling Lights. Sunless Grasp. Freeze damage and reduce accuracy. Minor Missiles. Fan of Flames. And Wizard's Double. I think I'm going to go ahead and swap Dazzling Lights for Wizard's Double. He has a Scepter, Aloth's Leather Armor. Properties: Overseeing. Aloth's leather armor has been lightly enchanted to enhance his spellcasting abilities. It also appears to have custom decorative patterns stitched into the surface. Unlike most of your wooden leather armor, Aloth's has been tailored in the Adir style, meaning that the torso is more heavily reinforced, but it lacks sleeves due to Adir's hot and humid climate. Interesting. And I can't just... Oh. Overseeing? Can I see that? No. And a rapier. Interesting. I still don't have the freaking cloak equipped. There. Right. Clubs, a dagger, simple clothing, and 12, 13, 27 copper pieces.
I'm here.
Right. Can't go in there, I guess. Let's see here. Temple of Aothus. Road west. Oh. Let's go here then. I want to explore the town before staying at the inn. I regret wasting that camping supply, but oh well. Afra. A dear wooden woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Gods keep you.
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry, I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? I just arrived in Gilded Vale. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at you hopefully. Master Odamus by chance? I was, yes. I'm afraid the rest of the caravan was killed. Afra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I knew it. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kalisha was always so certain that she could take on any danger. Afra sniffs. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here, if I hadn't written to her, she might still be alive somewhere. Afra's face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. Kalisha mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide some assistance? Afra looks at you with some surprise before dabbing at her nose with a sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose this on you. It's not a small favor. Afra wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kalisha as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Raedric, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavor. She sniffs. With my Hathort gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home, too. I hoped Kalisha could help me. They say Ragna, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's compass 2 seasons ago. The journey is too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else now with Kalisha gone. Please, can you help me? Kind wayfarers and gold-packed knights. I'll go find Ranga for you. Afra blinks, eyes wide. You will? Oh, gods bless you. Here, I'll give you coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of, well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Anslog's compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving both of us. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through the tears. This worn, dog-eared book is titled Travels Upon the Seldgloss Sea. There's an etched illustration of a vast finned leviathan. Cat. Well, we found Kalisha's sister. Let's head over here next, I guess. Discord. Sorry about that. Naunton and Ingerode. This man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing 2 bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little. Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this woman, Naunton? Naunton coughs. Yes, I think we met in the Valewood. I warned her about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you've made it. Was there something else you wanted? You two are in good spirits for people who just lost a friend. That's unkind of you to say. I'm grieving my husband in my fashion. I'm only sorry I could not convince him to leave Gilded Vale before this happened. I'm relieved to be rid of this terrible place, that's all. It'll cost me the greater part of my life. Oh, it's cost me the greater part of my loss and now my husband, and I'm glad to be free of it. You two seem to be in a hurry. Yes, I imagine so. Ingrode laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay, and she looks at Naunton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Naunton reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. Is there anything you can tell me about the Gilded Vale? Ingrode smiles wryly. Only that you'll want to be moving on as soon as you can. You've seen the tree, I imagine. But the rot goes deeper. If you were looking for work, I'd say you would have a better chance of it elsewhere. We're heading for Defiance Bay ourselves. The Deerwood part, I'm not going to steal from them. I will loot out here, though. Beer and ale.
Yes.
Okay. Next up is the windmill, I guess. We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through that door gets shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, Swain, or I'll put you down like a dog. Come away for now, lads, but we'll be back, Trumbull, and we'll have fair prices, or by the flame, we'll have a reckoning. Against the grain. Investigate the feud. An elven man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back if you value your life. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club. Wait, I know you. You just came into town, right? Don't tell me Swainer's already got his claws into you. Gods, that's all I need. I thought you could use some help. Those people out there seemed pretty angry. Really? Trumbull eyes with relief. Hylia's tits, I could use a friendly face. I take it you've heard some part of what the crowd's asking for. Grain, as if I've got it all tucked away somewhere. Swainer's been egging on that lot for days now. They've been keeping clear so far, but if things keep on like they are, I don't know how much longer we've got before things get messy. Please. If you're not here on his behalf, maybe you could go speak to Swainer. He won't listen to me anymore. Just explain that we're all getting smaller rations now. We are all making sacrifices. I'll go see what I can do. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it if you can convince him. Right. Black Hammer Smithery. Smithery? Smithers. I'm not sure where I will be able to find Swainer, but wait. Okay, yeah, Swainer. Right. We do need to get that reward, if there is one. They clean up the corpses pretty fast. Villagers... Pasha.
Welcome.
Hello, and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tenforth told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourself a favorite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tenforth said he'd like to whip something up nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? Tell me more about the Black Hound? Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We get a lot of new faces in here, too. Fewer than we used to, I'll admit. Wow, that's a lot of experience. Tenforth's the big draw. I'm sure we'll get the big crowds back again in no time. I used to work the tables, actually, until the old owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him, even his poor hound behind. That's the name, see? The Black Hound. It's still sitting upstairs pining after him. Poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow. She laughs. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. Please sit where you like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by way of a good meal today. She sighs and notes you're fond of cold porridge. Do you know anyone looking for work? Oh, that's custom party members. Let's see. Do you sell food? And food has decent buffs, it would seem. Is this a game where... Oh, they do buy anything. Ha! Alright. I guess I'll go ahead and keep one of everything. It seems like a good way to do things. Alright, I've amassed what feels like a small fortune. Consumables. Oh, never mind, that is not a fortune at all. Constitution and perception. Endurance and constitution. Might and perception. Endurance, constitution. Oh, wow. Ale and beer are actually pretty useful. Sure, I'll take a bunch of cheese. I have a feeling I'm also going to want to buy a lot of grain. Oh, level up. I guess you get lore and mechanics, and I guess survival. And you get a level 2 spell. Okay. Yes. Scorching Ray. Yes. Okay. Take a heal and freaking Scorching Ray. Holy crap. How are you on spell charges, though? 2 level 2 ones, 4 level 1 ones. Okay.
Yes.
Tenforth is back there. Generic villagers. Strom Brightblade and Selena Vertivo. And, oh, there's Swainer.
Welcome.
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Keep walking. We're not here to chat with foreigners. Aloth narrows his eyes. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it, too. Trumbull says you've been threatening his family. Oh, I'd bet he has. All nobility, that Trumbull. Two big, strong kids. Purest soul in all of Gilded Vale. The dwarf sneers. Coward sending out messengers to handle his business? Well, you can go and tell him that we haven't had a solid meal in days on account of him, and we can't afford a good drink on account of him, but we won't be bullied by some foreigner on account of him. I have 16 might? If you want to fight with Trumbull, let's make it a fair one. Hey, hold on there! Swainer raises his... Oh, right, because might is just as important. Swainer raises his hands defensively, eyes big. No need to get nasty. We won't go near the miller. Blazes, we haven't done a thing to him. We're just hungry is all. And it looks like that isn't changing. You want to side with that rotten bastard, you go ahead. You and this whole town.
I'd be glad to.
What's on this table? Fan of Flames. Development of a Crucible Knight Part 2, senior ranks, and money. Oh! As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Oh, right. This is what the loading screen was talking about Kickstarter backer characters. You can read it, but I'm not reading all that. I'm not going to be seeking them out. At least, just to keep the LP on pace. Carousers. Grab a drink, friend. Not much else of worth in this town, says the woman from Tane. Hey, we said we wouldn't mention Tane. More. In guest. Crammed behind the books is a drawing that shows Aethys and Lord Raedric in a compromising position.
I'll have it in no time.
Let's see.
The work of a moment.
Another rapier, padded armor, and a duelist's hat. Never mind what I was saying about, not stealing. As long as there are no consequences, whatever. Tenforth will probably want to talk. Probably. Oh. I leveled up too. Okay. I also get lore and take two in it. Take one in athletics and one in stealth, I guess. Right. I guess I take Rolling Flame and Curse of Blackened Sight. Ah, it's you, my savior. He makes a sweeping gesture to indicate the kitchen around you. It's so good to be back. Do not think I'll let this go unrewarded. I've decided that you've earned the right to one of my most closely guarded secrets, my dearest recipe. After this, you will eat nothing else. Oh, a savory pie to keep you hale and hearty. May it serve you well in your travels. Cool. I guess might as well get a room.
Gods keep you.
I'd like a room, please. Laborer's Rest. For 2 rests, I get 1 perception and 1 mechanics. Or Deerwood's Pride, which, let's go for Laborer's Rest. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree, the creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward like moldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly, her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air, she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with a magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she is truly dead. Alright. Before we do that, should probably go see the miller. And then head back over by the tree. We never saw the temple either.
Greetings.
Trumbull nods a curt greeting. You're back. Have you had any luck with Swainer? I spoke to Swainer. And what did he say? I've convinced him to leave your family in peace. Why, that's great news. I wasn't sure if you'd get through to him. They're out of their minds with drink half the time. I owe you a great debt. He pulls a coin purse from his hip and pushes it towards you. Today's earnings, to show my appreciation. And you can be sure that I'll let everyone know what you've done for me. Glad to help. Now you stand a chance of getting through the year. Trumbull smiles broadly. All thanks to you. Safe travels, friend. Gained 20 copper. Right. And I think that only leaves a Mother's Plea side quest wise, and I'd have to go to Anslog's Compass for that. And something tells me that's going to be a while. Although, we've gained a level and a party member, so we might be able to nuke down that bear. That's another purple thing. More blood moss. Let's talk to Adair. Welcome to our lovely village. No. Let's talk to Brugiet.
I have received confirmation that Lord Radric's heir was not born well. My lord has issued an injunction on all new homesteads until he can be assured that the village has been cleansed of all Aothasians and whatever other undesirables that have brought this curse upon his lands. It would be best if you left town as soon as possible. I would suggest returning to your old home. There will be no place for you here. You may stay at the inn until you can make the necessary arrangements, but I would not advise remaining long. I expect Lord Radric will be most thorough in his efforts to purify this place.
This is outrageous. I came a long way. Then you should have no problem continuing on. Trust me when I say it would be best if you were not here when Lord Roderick's men were dispatched from his hold. They will be looking for anyone who might have brought the legacy upon us, whose very presence might have polluted his wife's womb. They will extinguish all possibilities. Caldera de Baronzi. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tug of her noose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her headless life lolls forward rigidly from one side to the other when the breeze shifts. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there is a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out towards the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you've expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electrical surge of images and words and sounds. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman. And when you open them again, she is staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog, her body still swaying in the wind. You no longer feel from the tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear? Or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I think I survived a Beawick. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me now.
You said souls decay over time?
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again. But less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
I want to know something about you.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other, turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I loved the Valian republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear. Of course, dear.
Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy then. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
I need to understand something that's happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair. And here we are, visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either leaving or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees them, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder.
What did you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties. You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kanua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company. Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Hana was granted Crucible of the Soul. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. Are you alright? You seemed lost just now. I'm a watcher. His arched eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that is interesting. He gives you a sly grin. And I suspect this has something to do with the hooded figures in the ruin, hmm? In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share of these things. Do you know anything about Watchers? Only that they're rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions, as you just demonstrated. Well, let's continue on. Right, I really do... Okay, I really do want to try nuking that bear down. Because I have 2 freaking mages in the party. Alright. Cadnua is the next destination, but I want to go to the Valenwood first. The next long-term destination, I should say. Your character's biography writes itself as your adventures unfold. Oh, journal. Somehow, I don't think the hunter's alibi was legit. Oh. Right. You do a ray of fire. You blackened sight. And I missed that. Go for the ice grasp. And you dazzling lights? I should have done that, but better late than never. Let's try that again. You wizard's double. Just keep dropping freaking magic missiles on you. What? Oh, that's the double. Right. Bear hide worth 5 copper piece.
I'd be glad to.
Right, it's a crafting ingredient. Can't be too disappointed. Ooh.
Hi?
Chest with a gray sword. I don't have a warrior yet. Mice crawl through eye sockets and over femurs.
I shall.
More cave coral. Another soul. A figure drifts, suspended in the musty air of the cavern. Its form and features blur and twist in cascading ripples of incandescence. You feel its energy eddying about your limbs, filling them with a heavy chill. You reach out a hand for the spirit. In the moment of contact, you feel as if you have been struck a blow, head reeling as you tumble helplessly into a waiting darkness. Light blooms at the edges of your vision. You feel the sun at your back and the weight of a bow in your hand. You know suddenly that you've come a long way from the Vale, hunting deer. Now you're standing before a cavern, and the darkness extends far into its depths. Even so, your friend strides out before you, his red cloak flapping at his heels. You follow, heart hammering in your chest as he leads you deeper into the cavern. There's a roar like thunder echoing around you. Fear seizes you, casts you stumbling back towards the exit, towards light and escape. You see a glint of steel, and there's a sudden terrible flash of agony behind your knee. You scream, stumble, fall. Your thoughts are chaos, lanced through with pain. But in a moment of terrible clarity, you see your friend look back from the mouth of the cavern, his dagger daubed in crimson to match his cloak. And then there's a great dark shape above you, and then there is no more pain. The vision recedes, and you are thrown back into yourself with seemingly resentful force. The corpse lies at your feet, and the specter lingers. In the span of energy between you both, you feel a sense of questioning, of confusion, of anger. I met him on the road, your friend. A sudden, lashing anger emanates from the spirit. Rage and grief seem to pour from the gleaming figure like smoke. I'll find him and see that he answers for what he's done to you. For a moment, the spirit seems to burn bright, and your head fills with a sickly triumph. The spirit seems to weaken with the force of its own exhaustion, growing fainter and fainter until you are alone once more. Right. I had a feeling it was something like that. Let's let's hope he hasn't left yet, because that's going to be a while if he has. Right, I'm gonna also want to stay at the inn.
I'd be glad to.
I want to go to this house. I'm actually kind of amazed that I managed to nuke that bear down. Hello, murderer.
Good day, stranger.
I know what really happened in that bear cave, Naunton. The color drains from Naunton's face. I don't know what you mean. I told you the truth of it. Are you accusing him of something? And Grode looks to Naunton, touching his arm. If this is about the accident, we're both grieving Pearlie's loss, but it was a wild animal's doing. Naunton shakes his head minutely. You see a tremble in his hands. What would make you suggest a thing? I had a vision in the cave. I saw Pearlie's last moments as he left them. I saw you cut him with the knife. That's not possible. Naunton stares at you. How could you possibly know? His hand falls to his sword belt. I had left no sign. Naunton, wait! And Grode raises a hand. I don't know what you saw in that cave, but this isn't what you think. Pearlie, my husband, he was as much a beast as that bear. I tried to leave the first time I suffered his temper, but he wouldn't have it. Naunton, we met, and I knew I'd found someone special, someone kind, who cared for me. Please, all we want is to leave this place, to start somewhere else. She looks down at the satchels. We've some coin saved up. You could have it if you'll only let us go. I'm taking this to the magistrate. Whatever your reasons, you caused a man's death. I don't know what you'd think you'd tell the magistrate. A story about a dream you had? Naunton sneers. But you won't take this from us. Not when we were so close, and not for that wretched Pearlie. Naunton draws his blade. Had a feeling this was coming. Oh, the frame rate. I am filling up my heart too much. You know what's going to happen. Actually, hang on. There we go. Right.
That's for my friends.
Jeez.
Hi.
I might as well use my spells since I'm going to be resting at the inn anyway. Vengeance from the grave complete. A dagger and a sword. Simple clothing and a minor ring of deflection. And money. I'm robbing them now. Right. So next time on Pillars of Eternity, I'm going to rest up, and then I suppose we'll be moving towards either Anslog's Compass or Caed Nua. See you guys then.